Hello and welcome to the Council's review of Cherry. Oh, that was very chipper for what the film is. Today we are going to be reviewing Cherry because we have been lucky enough to see it. As you can see, there is only three of us here. So we would like to welcome Jack, aka Gator, aka Geeky Gator, and he will be joining us. Welcome.
Hello.
So I will start because I believe I am the only person that actually properly just enjoyed this film. I did find the first 45 minutes, I think it was, up until I got to the army, I was like, oh, get me watch out, like, I'm bored. I thought the actress who played his girlfriend was extremely bland at the start. I will parenthesis that with it. At the start, I found her extremely boring. But then once it actually got into the army stuff, fully enjoyed it, fully was invested. Continued to be invested throughout until the end of the film. And I don't get why people are hating on it. Go. Who wants
I don't think anybody's hating
next?
on it. I think people are just saying it's not. Well, we don't know what they're saying because the embargo hasn't lifted. But like,
yeah,
the
but
buzz
there's been
around
like a few
it,
people.
yeah, is that it's just not good. It's like it's not. It's weak. You know what I mean? Like it's so overstuffed. I don't know, Jack. I'll let you talk first, and then I can ramble.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I enjoyed parts of it. I think similar to you, Liam, I liked the war parts the most. The stuff beforehand was kind of basic. And I think it's kind of like if Michael Bay tried to make an awards bait movie. It's a lot of like style in there, especially the cinematography and the way it's shot. It's like really hard trying to be stylistic, but I don't know how much actual like substance and deep stuff there is. It seems kind of surface level for a lot of the things. And yeah, I think Tom Holland was easily the best part of the movie. He did a really good performance. I also wasn't a huge fan of I think her name's Ciara Bravo, the girl who plays his girlfriend. She was okay. She didn't really do anything special. Yeah, I just overall it didn't really impress me that much.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would because I think this movie is really like a mess and kind of all over the place. Even like the way they kind of have handled the movie, just distributing it. Because I've been to like 3 Q&As without having seen the movie, and the more I heard about it, the more I started to dislike it just because of the stuff that they were talking about. So I'll give them that. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but I do think the problem is kind of how they structured the film. Like I think the actual if they kind of picked one because they follow him in different parts of his life. If they just picked one and stuck with it and developed that, I think it would have been really good. Because I did like the cinematography. I thought it was very interesting. I thought the acting from Tom and Ciara was good. I thought even the writing was fine. It's just, again, how they structured everything and how long it was, and it dragged at so many points. I didn't like the war stuff, but I guess that's just me. But I would compare this movie a lot to Malcolm and Marie because I have the same problems with that film that I do with this, where I feel like it's strong in terms of its filmmaking, but the way they structured it really hurt the film. And with that, I suggested it would be like a short film. I think that would have done better for that film. And then for Cherry, I think like a streaming show on Apple TV would have been a lot better, where you just get to follow, because I think there were 6 chapters per se. So have one as an episode or just, pick one and go with it, I think would have been a lot better. It was just kind of disappointing that, this is what the Russo brothers and Tom Holland did,
Mhm.
Oh, I feel bad for them now because I did genuinely enjoy the
Yeah.
film. I went into it fully expecting to not enjoy it because I was like, ugh,
hmm
more army stuff, drug stuff. But I enjoyed it. I thought the way they handled PTSD, I thought the way it wasn't just a case of nothing happened in the army stuff where you would be like, well, why the fuck's he got PTSD? It made a good job of pointing out why he had PTSD. And I think that was executed well. And I think considering the point of this film is to highlight PTSD following war and obviously drug use. I think the way it was handled was good, and I think in lesser directors' hands, it could have come across either cheesy or just not have had a point.
But in a better director's hand, it would have paid off. You know what I mean? Because I think the problem
but for me, it
also,
did pay off.
yeah, but there's so many tonal shifts throughout the film. Like you feel like you're watching a love story, then it's a war film, then it's a a heist film, then it's just so many different things, and it's so long. Like I think if they wanted to actually fully flesh this out, they should have just done something more long form. But I think the fact that they wanted to make this a movie, they should have just. I get that they wanted to fully fledge out the PTSD and everything, but just shorten it. You know what I mean? Like I think the war stuff could have been what started the film. Make it 20 minutes, whatever, and then go
But
on with the heist part.
if you didn't have the beginning part, you wouldn't have understood why the PTSD affected her as well.
I get that, but again,
so you had to have that first part to make the coming back from war and the PTSD. You had to have that beginning 45 minutes to make the end of the movie work. Because if you didn't have the structure of setting up that romance and setting up that relationship, which, yeah, I had a problem with her in that first 45 minutes. I thought she was a bit bland. I think once he came back from war and once their relationship was properly fledged out and you understood why she also became addicted to drugs because of him, I think she became a lot better acting wise. Watching it, I found her to be a lot better in that second part when she wasn't just trying to play like the Dalton wallflower kind of thing. No, I think everything, it hit the points where, for me, it hit the points where it needed to hit the points. And I think, yes, there was issues with the first 45 minutes, but I understood why the first 45 minutes were there, even though I didn't appreciate them.
But the first 45 minutes.
You could have.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. You could have done those first 45 minutes probably and gotten all those points across in like 15 minutes.
Exactly.
And then gone to the war stuff, and then the bank stuff at the end, I think also was a little too long. They robbed like 3 or 4 banks, and it got kind of repetitive. Like maybe robbed 2 banks, and then consequences of that. But
yeah,
I think because obviously we don't want to trying to avoid spoilers. I'm trying to figure out a way to say, like, I understand why there was more bank heists because it was showing his, it's not growth. It was showing his journey, if that makes sense. I'm trying to say this without giving away spoilers, and it's really difficult.
Liam, the thing is,
obviously,
when you show the journey, that's fine, but this is a movie. We didn't need to have 3 bank heists. If you want to fully show his journey and you want to fully show his relationship and you want to fully show his war, his time in the army, that's fine. But this is not structure to do it. There's not the place to do it because you don't have time to do all of that.
I think they had time.
But they
It
didn't.
was a 2 hour and 20-minute film.
Mhm.
It got the romance started. It had enough of the war stuff in it. It didn't need any more war stuff in it. And most of the film was centered around the opioid crisis in America, and obviously in how the PTSD affected him once he came home. I think it didn't need a series because it got everything said what it wanted to be said in that 2 hours and 20 minutes. It didn't need the extra time. And if you focus on just one part of that story, then you don't get any of the. If you focused on just the army, you're not getting any of the issues around the opioid crisis in obviously in America. If you focus on just the opioid crisis, you don't understand why he became addicted because you've skipped all the army stuff. If you focus on just the opioid, just their relationship, you don't really care because what separates it from everything else? Adding the war stuff in and adding the bank heist stuff in, that's what makes it different from any other type of drug-related story where it's centered around couples. For me, that's how I see it. I don't think it needed extra time. I don't think it needed less time. I think, yes, the first 45, as I said, the first 45 minutes were boring, and yes, they probably could have done it in 15 minutes. But given that 45 minutes, it allowed them to set up the relationship with the girlfriend. It allowed them to precursor the fact that he is willing to take drugs. It also allowed you to show the relationship with the friends as well, which allowed you to realize why his friends would so willingly go along with him when it came to the end of the movie. Well, not the end of the movie, but from like the middle of the movie onwards, it allowed you to know why the friends would so basically stupidly go along with them. Like the what was the friend? Is it James Gandolfini's son? Was the other friend that went into the Marines?
Oh,
And
Michael
obviously you found out that
Gandolfini,
he's
Cousin Joe.
that's it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. Obviously you found out he'd went to the Marines, and obviously it built up that that conflict within the friend group at the beginning, having him from the beginning saying, well, I'm going into the Marines. It allowed for that setup. And obviously the way that it didn't just show how Tom's character handled PTSD, it also showed his handling of PTSD and the differences. So for me, I thought it worked. I'm done.
I think if they wanted to focus a little more on the opioid and like drug addiction part, I think towards the end they kind of montage through a crucial part of that for his whole journey with that, because obviously before that montage of a few years of his life where he's going through something, he's doing an action right before that where he's clearly still not doing well. And then I would imagine through those few years, he is able to change a little, but they kind of montage through it.
I don't know how to respond without spoilers.
It's tricky without spoilers.
It really is. I didn't need the montage parts, so I get why it was a montage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that added to the conversation. We've all seen that type of film. We don't need that.
Yeah. And I think the montage was done well. It was done in an interesting way. It wasn't like a traditional montage. So I appreciated that. And I wish the movie was more like that, where they kind of condensed their story so that it didn't feel like you were watching a movie all day. Because it really did feel like I was sitting there on my computer all day and that this movie was never ending just because of all the different places that we went to. I saw somebody compare this to a student film. And I think that is a great comparison because I think that the Russo brothers kind of, after Endgame, were kind of drunk on their power and wanted to try all these different things. And I feel like some of them did work. I really like the cinematography. I really like the opening. The opening, I think, was the best part. And I think they did some interesting things with the banks also towards the beginning. I won't spoil what it is, but, the thing of how they lit certain things, let's say. I thought the framing of certain scenes were interesting. I thought placement of camera for certain scenes was interesting.
Yes.
Certainly, yeah.
Yes.
I definitely
the
needed
the
that.
Tom Holland stands are definitely going to get the up close personal view of Tom Holland that they want and require in their life. Yeah.
But speaking of Tom Holland, though, I do think he was really good in this.
It was.
The rest of the cast is crazy because you have Kelly Berglund. I don't know where she's from, but she's like I recognize her from places. Who played the girlfriend in the beginning? You have Jamie Brewer from American Horror Story in this. Jack Rayner.
Yes,
Jeff
I expected
Wahlberg.
him more.
Yeah, but like you have all these people in this, and it's like, oh, and the guy, hold on, what's his name? Thomas Lennon, who's in like a bunch of Melissa McCarthy comedies, and it's like so many B-level people that you're like, oh my god, why is this person in this? But nobody besides Ciara Bravo and Tom Holland actually did a good job. Like all of the extras, like everybody just was so wooden in their delivery, and it feels like the Russos only
I don't think that's fair to Jack Rayner.
Jack Rayner was fine, but like everybody else,
he was fine.
Yeah. But just in general, when you look at the acting, it was weak. Besides, the leads, I would say.
I don't think it's a case of it's weak. I think it was a case of nobody got given anything really.
Yeah, but the stuff that they were given weren't delivered well. It felt like they were reading words off of a page. It didn't feel like they were, like, no effort was put in from anybody, the Russos, the writers, or the actors, to kind of be like, this is a real character. You know what I mean? It was like,
I didn't feel that. Okay. I feel like I'm really championing this movie, and I know,
and it's insane. Like, we were talking about this. Like, you of all people love this. It's crazy. But also, I don't understand why
the movie.
Exactly. I don't understand why Tom Holland is so focused on like changing his image. Like, because after Devil All the Time and this, which are very similar in his performances and his character arcs. Well, not character arc, but like, you know what I mean? They're kind of both like adulty. Oh, I'm going to smoke and have sex and show you parts of me that I shouldn't show, And it's like, why?
Woo, heroin.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about that? Why do you think Tom Holland's so focused on?
Probably because he wants to transition out of child. I think obviously he came in with quite a serious role. Obviously that child role in The Impossible. And then obviously, but he went straight from that into Spider-Man, basically.
Yeah.
I think he wants to show off that he can do more. That there is a reason he can act, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think there was a period in his career too, like from when he got hired to be Spider-Man, all the way up until probably like 2018, where all he was doing was being Spider-Man, because he had Civil War, he had his own movie, he had Endgame and Infinity War, so he probably got a little tired.
And he's had his own movie again.
Yeah. And his own movie again, yeah. So he probably didn't want to be pigeonholed into like friendly teenager guy role.
I guess.
Want to do something more serious.
It was quite amusing though, trying to at the end, obviously, because it takes place obviously of a very large span of time. It was really amusing to watch him be playing like a 30-odd-year-old, like 30-odd, 40-odd-year-old person.
I did not like Tom Holland with a mustache.
No,
like that they would just like, well, chuck a mustache on him and make him squint his eyes so that he gets crow's feet. Like that'll do. Like I was watching, I was like, What is this?
Yeah.
Hey, use some aging up technology, please.
Yeah, I mean, I like to joke that Tom Holland's agent sucks, and like he kind of does, but I just feel, or she, I don't know who his agent is, but
Hey.
is it a he?
I'm just saying, say they.
Oh, they. I thought, okay, yeah, their agent, or his agent sucks. They're bad at their job. But I do think Tom Holland
I
kind of has
disagree.
poor judgment. I think, like, if you look at the projects that he's in, it makes zero, like, Chaos Walking, I understand, because he signed that way back in, like, 2016, 2017. But Cherry, Devil All the Time, like, does this guy not read his scripts? And he recently said he wants to do stand-up instead of acting. Like, I get that he wants to change his image and be more adult. And I think Uncharted behind Liam, I think that's a good move because that's still in brand for Tom Holland. But I think all of these different things where you're seeing him do all these things and like in not very good films, it doesn't feel like if Cherry was good, like really good, or if Devil All the Time was really good, then it could be explained because like yeah, he's trying to get an Oscar. But the fact that both of these movies were not, it just seems like he's trying to get out of this image, and I don't understand it because it is so successful, and he doesn't want to ruin that because people already kind of dislike him as Spider-Man online, which I don't understand. And I fear that this will fuel it more. Look on Twitter, Liam. Everyone's like, "Oh, Tom Holland sucks. He's the worst Spider-Man," and I don't understand why. So,
But Tobey Maguire's there. How can you say he's the
Exactly.
worst?
I don't agree with it.
Weirdos.
Yeah. Anyway, final thoughts.
We'll end on
Yeah.
a positive note, so I'll go last.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go. I think it's an entertaining film. At certain points, it's a little too long. It meanders a little too much. I think you could have cut a lot. I think besides Tom Holland, some of the acting was wooden and weak. And like I said before, I think it's a lot of style, which is good, like the cinematography and stuff, but the substance isn't really there.
Yousef.
I agree with Jack. I think the movie is, if you want to watch it, then by all means go ahead. I think it is an entertaining film to some degree. I think, you know, the cinematography will keep you interested. I do think you're going to check your phone a lot, particularly because this is Apple TV Plus. And you're going to pause, you're going to walk around. Like, this is a movie that you can watch in parts. You don't have to watch in full, I feel. I do think it's a little all over the place, but it is ambitious, so I'll give them that. I think it's a good first step. If they just kind of focus in a little bit more, I think this could be something. It's sad that it wasn't handled better in its release, because I do think Tom Holland could have gotten some sort of recognition from like SAG or Golden Globes or something. But that's a whole other conversation because Apple TV is wild. Yeah. But yeah, overall, I think it was good. I do think it just dragged a little bit, and that's where my problems lie. It's not a bad film by any means. It just is long. Liam.
Okay, thank you. I take on board both of your points, but for me, I can't believe I'm the person saying this, but I fully enjoyed this film. I got bored a little bit at the beginning, but once the army hit, I was fully invested. I was watching it. I wasn't really checking my phone. Obviously, I checked it when it went off, but that's what you do. I would recommend it. I would say people can enjoy it. I watched it at the same time as my brother was watching it, and he thoroughly enjoyed it as well, which is weird considering he hates everything. He's such a pessimistic little shit. So that was weird, but yeah, fully enjoyed it. I will say, however, I don't understand why, when heroin addicts got money, why they bought a Subway sandwich, apart from obvious advertising reasons.
I will say I really craved a Subway sandwich. I really was like, look at those pickles. They look so good.
But heroin addicts do not eat. So they did the first thing they did when they got money was get a Subway sandwich. That is bullshit. Bullshit, Vivian. You won't get that because it's from Drag Race UK, but still bullshit.
Yeah.
And that is how I would like to end my review.
Yeah, and before the Tom Holland stands come for us, I would consider myself a Tom Holland stan. I don't know, Stan. I
Well,
don't know about Jack, but
we've all said,
yeah,
like, we thought Tom Holland was good. So I don't believe we can. I think.
But
we are
I've seen the
safe from
dislikes on our
scans.
reactions, Liam. So I'm just trying to get it out there.
Sorry.
Richard H called us pessimistic, so we gotta shout him out again. Okay, well, on that note, Liam, let's wrap it up.
Wrap this mother up. So thank you for watching our review. If you would like to interact with us more, you can find us on our socials, which is on Twitter, the Council Pod.
Yes.
The Council Pod. We're also on Instagram, which is myself running it. So you will have zero interaction, and that is at the _Council Pod. We are also on Facebook at the Council Pod, and you can also look on this YouTube channel to find more videos and our podcasts if you would like to listen to us, because we rant a lot and it's fun.
We do.
And we will also be returning for season 3
on March
very
9th.
Very soon.
Yes.
Then
there we go.
Where we will have new people.
By the time this comes out, they'll be announced, so you can just say Jack's joining us. We're very excited.
Hello.
And then we will also have Constance.
Yeah.
So 2 of our previous guests will be joining us.
Also, Cherry is available in theaters February 26th and on Apple TV Plus March 12th.
Yes. Go watch it if you would like to.
Yes.
I say you should.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Oh, hey, thanks for watching. And remember, full episodes are available wherever you get your podcasts.
With new episodes Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, links in the description box.
And be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to stay caught up to date with the Council.
Boys, I'm excited.